Oh, Jesus. Oh. It's a provocative title, I promise. It's a provocative title. Yeah, so after George Floyd died, there was a thing on the internet where everybody was litigating and debating details, like whether he had cocaine in his system when he died. But the details of it were the highlight, right? The details of his death became the highlight of the debate, to the point where you almost got the impression that the difference between liberals and conservatives was what they believed about the facts of this individual man's death, which I don't think is accurate, right? That's not the difference between liberals and conservatives. The difference is their view of the criminal justice system more generally, right? I know nothing about it, and I don't care to know anything about it. I don't care to know anything about the Trayvon Martin case or anything like that, which might sound a little bit cruel. But I don't think that there is any reason for me to know the details of all these individual anecdotal stories. Not just on this issue, but on lots of other issues. Amber Heard, for example. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Why does everybody give a shit? It's crazy. Like there was a sect of the population that really treated Amber Heard as if all of feminism was riding on her. Like this is what feminism is. Feminism is individual, anecdotal Me Too stories about celebrities. Or black rights is litigating the details of an individual example of police brutality and determining, like, whether or not the police were brutal in that specific circumstance. Because it was, like, viral and on video, I guess. That's terrible. Something has gone wrong in your society when the way that you discuss politics is exclusively through viral footage and celebrities. Like, right? There's something prior to the conversation that has gone wrong. And this also affects, I think, the way we talk about the protests surrounding his death, right? The protest movement. Because I don't hear anybody, right or left, when they discuss BLM, really discussing policies, right? Like, the left isn't like, I support Black Lives Matter because I support police reform. Here are the specific police reforms. Well, actually, maybe the left is a little bit more like that, right? But the right isn't like, I am against those specific police reforms because I believe it's actually necessary for the police to have X authority in order to do their job, right? That's not the argument. There is no argument. Instead, the argument is like, well, I think the way they're going about it is too rough. That's the main argument. That's the main reason I hear. If you talk to like a conservative leaning person about why they dislike BLM, it has absolutely nothing to do with the end goals of the movement. It has nothing to do with police reform. It has nothing to do with black politics. It has everything to do with believing that the protests themselves have been too violent at points, or that the movement stands for certain things. There was an FD signifier video, I'll link it in the description below, where he talks about a Black Lives Matter, like protest, where after the organizers had left, like after the official time of the protest had ended and all of the people doing the organizing went away, right? Some people were left behind, stayed, and they ran their own sort of second protest that was after the official protest, and they sort of marched down the street chanting like "death to all cops" or something, right? And then that became associated with BLM, even though it wasn't sanctioned by any official Black Lives Matter organizers. So it's not just that individual scenario. Like, I don't think we should have to... So instead of centering around the actual goals people are trying to achieve, the conversation becomes centered around people's tactics. And now, I don't want to discourage people who just like generally believe that a non-violent approach to activism is the best approach, that we shouldn't be starting riots or anything like that. I'm not here to make a pro-riot stance today. I am going to say that I don't think there's any way to know, really, whether or not a given movement or organization is violent, unless, of course, that organization has like an official website and it just puts in the description of the website, "Hi, we kill people," or something. You know, outside of that, I think it's so difficult to tell whether or not any given organization is deliberately violent or if there's provocateurs. And I apply this on principle. I don't believe that if you believe in the types of goals that Black Lives Matter achieves, that you should be discouraged from participating or joining up with them by any kind of like fire and brimstone clips you've been shown by conservative media outlets or that you've seen go viral on the internet of look how violent and destructive these people are. At the same time, I also don't necessarily think that January 6th was a fundamentally violent thing where every single person involved, every single person there that day was planning on doing a coordinated attack. I think it's very likely that there was just some amount of instigation on the part of maybe a small handful of organized right-wing groups, like, say, the Oath Keepers, specifically, who had a high degree of involvement in it. And they just sort of spurred along the general crowd into these actions. And personally, I don't necessarily know that I really think giving really strict punishments to anybody who just happened to be there that day is really the best approach. Well, I did it again. I circled the left and the right. I punched them both. I punched them. Ooh, he says. Well, oh my God, I'm literally dancing on a grave right now. I'm dancing on a grave. Dancing on your graves. The graves of your destroyed booty holes. End of video. I said booty holes.